A very good afternoon to you and welcome to another exciting edition of your favorite business development program on radio, Masterclass. Masterclass is powered by Joy Business and brought to us today by Goyle. Goyle, they say good energy, Goyle. Yenara, Yedia. Masterclass comes your way every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. and runs all the way through to 2:15 p.m. here on your superstation Joy 99.7. My name is Yaw Barnafo and I'm glad to be your host for today's edition of Masterclass. Week before last, we started a conversation here on social media marketing and its importance in the businesses that we run and how we can leverage on it to make our businesses much better. After we had talked about AI and how we can also leverage on that. In that conversation, we had with us here the resource person who took us through ways of optimizing that process. And there were three things that he said which sort of stayed with me in the very first conversation. He talked about the common mistakes that people make, on social media. Today, everyone is on social media. Everyone thinks they understand how it works, but there are those who understand it better than the rest of us. And that's what this conversation is about, to help us be able to leverage on it better. Three key mistakes that he talked about, particularly for those who run businesses and those who are on social media. He said that one of the common mistakes that people make on social media is not having a clear strategy for social media marketing. You're a business, you're a company, you're a CEO, you're a business owner. What exactly is your strategy on social media? Social media is a tool, it's agnostic. It does what you ask it to do. What do you want from social media? Let's be clear. Always have a strategy. The second thing he said was inconsistent branding. Again, like I always say, there are people who are specialized in these things. Reach out to people who can help you to keep your branding consistent, because there's so many brands that look alike. And so when people are looking for you, they shouldn't be confused with another person. Inconsistent branding, one of the mistakes that people make. And then he also talked about the low content quality. That's the low quality of content. And there's a level at which your content should be for people to keep coming. You see how people, when they try to go to your page, they keep scrolling and scrolling, or not people, you, when you're on social media. You see how when things don't interest you, flip, and then you're scrolling. That's exactly what will happen to your page if the quality of your content is low. Last week here on the show, we had our second encounter with our resource person, and my very good friend and brother, Daryl Carl, sat in for me. Great guy, Daryl, by all standards. Great gentleman. Daryl, thank you so much for sitting in for me. I watched the show, and as always, you did brilliantly. Again, in that conversation, we moved on to the area of search engine optimization. In that conversation also, there were four things that they talked about which stayed with me. The first was achieving a high visibility in search results when people search for your business. When people are looking for your business, which ones come up first? If you are in an industry where they sell tomato and I'm searching for tomato sellers, how can you engineer your presence on social media so that when I'm looking for tomato sellers in Kokomlemle, yours will come up? There's a way it happens. It doesn't just happen. There's a way it can be done. So how do you optimize that search process? The second thing that they also talked about in that conversation was increased brand awareness and brand credibility. Clearly, there's also a way of achieving that. Higher chances of conversion of traffic and creating sales out of it. That was also another way of optimizing the search process and gaining a competitive advantage in the digital landscape. Those were the four things that stayed with me in that conversation. In today's conversation, we move again, still under social media marketing, to influencer marketing for business. I'm sure you've heard about the phrase brand ambassador, influencers, brand ambassador. One time I was having a conversation with a friend and I said, what do you want to become, a young friend, when you grow up? Says, I want to become an influencer. Influencing what? What is it that you are doing and what do you want to influence? Today we'll delve into that conversation, and back here in the studio with us is our friend, should I say a family friend of the show, resident digital marketing expert, Edward Asare, who's also a digital marketer who works for the United Bank for Africa, in charge of digital social media marketing in that company as well. Edward, you're welcome back to this conversation.
Thank you so much, Yaw, for having me.
Yeah, always energetic, always like Daryl will say, looking dapper.
Thank you.
Looking dapper. So today we're talking about influencer marketing.
Right.
Brand ambassadors. I know you always have some slides for us. For those of us who want to make some notes for flow of thought and chronology, again, as always, Edward has obliged us some slides. We're streaming live on Facebook. Go to our Facebook page, follow us, and you'll be able to see those slides and make some notes for yourself. But otherwise, if you're driving, you can just listen, keep your door locked right here, and be a part of today's conversation. Influencer marketing.
Right.
Social media. Talk to us.
Okay. Yaw, we all don't like ads. Nobody likes...
Especially when you're watching your favorite video and an ad shows up in the middle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody like ads. Nobody like adverts. And except for the ones that they do on Joy. As for that one, please listen. Listen to them. Okay, because we always bring you the best.
Yes.
Because we know discerning listeners are listening.
Indeed.
So many apps or applications have found a way to make sure that they earn from it. And I've always told you that most of these platforms, digital platforms, how they make their money is through ads. So if you won't pay for their premium version, what they do is that they will make you listen to ads. You understand? And we as marketers and communicators have noticed that we always want to reach people. We want to make sure we have the eyeballs of people. So there have to be a subtle way, a strategic way to still get to the people and communicate to them about your product and services. And that is why we have a term called product placement. It's another subtle way of also marketing your goods and services to people, where you don't go too hard on them. You don't make it look like you're forcing them to buy or patronize your goods and services. And that has a sort of branch in influencer marketing as well, where companies and brands leverage on the popularity and the influence of people in the country or on social media to reach people or to reach their customers, the people, the target audience that they are looking for. So I have a definition here where I said influencer marketing is a strategic approach where brands collaborate with influential individuals to promote their products and services. That way, you don't have to get rid of ads, because this is done so well such that it looks almost like it's natural. You just automatically warm up to that product or service because you've seen somebody you love so much using that product as well. So that is influencer marketing.
Brilliant. But let's go into the nitty-gritties of it.
Okay.
I mean, how does one become an influencer? Why should a business be concerned about influencer marketing? What benefits will it be to their business? You find that some corporates today will go, and I have a short list of people I have identified. Please, before I share that list, not now. When I get to it, I will issue a disclaimer.
Okay.
That list is not exhaustive. If your name is not here, please forgive me. It is in no particular order. But these are just examples of people we see in our everyday lives who represent certain brands.
Right.
What is the danger in a company using someone to represent that brand? What if the person is not on good behavior? Because so long as their positive behavior can affect the company positively, so can their negative behavior affect the company negatively.
Right.
That entire pack of conversation, just sort of break it down for us.
Okay.
If you will.
So you asked, the first one you asked was, how does one even become an influencer? So first of all, I've always advised business owners, and mostly these SMEs, to use their own presence in marketing their good. So if you are somebody who is into fashion, you sew female dresses, or you sew male dresses, you sew kaftans, you have to portray yourself as an expert in that industry. So first of all, you can actually use yourself as a business owner as an influencer. And what I've noticed is that most people who are business owners do not want to show themselves as they own the business. I don't know, for whatever reason. We are in
the same reason. It's stereotype. It's the main stereotype.
Right. So they always hide. Exactly. So you see that people have businesses that are doing so well, or that could have the potential of doing well, but they want to hide. They don't want to show their face. They always want to be so humble about what they do.
Bring them a letter to be chairman of Kofi and Amma.
They don't want to show that they do that thing. They don't want to show that they have knowledge in that. And you, as a business owner, you are the first influencer of your own business. You have the power to tell people that, oh, this is what I have. This is benefit. And that is not being proud. You're actually marketing your product or your service, and that is
in yourself.
It's business. You understand? So first of all, I would throw a challenge to business owners, whether small or big. The owner of that particular business, you have to portray yourself as an influencer in that field. So if you are somebody who is into makeup, you have to show yourself as the best person when it comes to makeup, so that your customers who come to you would actually believe whatever product or service or whatever recommendation you have for them. For instance, I work at UBA Ghana. Our board chairman is called Tony Elumelu. Go to his platforms. He's more or less like our number one influencer, looking at his lifestyle and all of that. Don't hide yourself as a business owner, because you have a reputation that can wash or that can affect the business in a positive way. So that is one of the...
It's a very strong point you make. Let me just harp on it
right.
just a bit more. If you're a business owner, whatever you are doing, be your biggest fan. Before we go out to marketing and spending money on sales, be your biggest fan. Whatever you are dealing in, be your biggest fan.
Exactly.
And I know an example of a man who used to work in a company that had a certain color. He believed in it so much that he sprayed his beard that color.
That color.
For a season, though. But be your biggest fan. That's where it starts from.
Exactly.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So that is for the business owners, okay, and that is not being proud, just like I said. And you know, this word is actually governed or ruled by perception, and it is how people perceive you that they want to associate with you. You understand? So when you have a certain knowledge in a certain area or in a certain industry, you have to showcase yourself as that person who people have to come to. And if you look, for instance, in the area of automobile, there's this guy on Twitter called Your Car Guy. He's always sharing knowledge on cars and all of that. And so people perceive him as that one go-to person who you have to go to when you need advice on cars. You understand? Because he has shared knowledge in that area for a very, very long time. So that perception is right there. Now let me go on to the type of influencers that we have. Okay. And we have the types of influencer marketing that we have. And we have sponsored content. For this particular one, when you actually engage an influencer on paid basis, so you actually engage the services of an influencer, and then you pay them to influence the decision of people to come and buy from you. So you can come to somebody like maybe Edward Asare. Maybe you've seen my works online, and you think that okay, Edward Asare will be a very good influencer for businesses or maybe educational materials or content. So what you do is that you engage me, and then you pay me an amount of money, and then I use my audience or my platform to tell people about what you have. And another thing about influencer marketing is that it's not like you're going to tell people lies. You have to be very, very sure that whatever you are communicating to people about that product is actually true, because they're actually leveraging on your credibility. They actually believe that you are the go-to person when it comes to this. You are the go-to person when it comes to food. You are the go-to person when it comes to fashion. You are the go-to person when it comes to media. So when I need somebody to do this for me, you are the one I'm coming to. So when you talk about it, what you say is much more believable. And you know, one of the things, okay, when you talk about you asked about the importance of influencer marketing. One of the reasons why we actually use influencers is because, you know, word of mouth is still the best form of marketing.
Advertising.
Yeah. In the world. Even Jesus asked his disciples, what do people say I am? You understand? Word of mouth. Who do people say I am? You understand? And so what people say about you actually matters. And it is much more believable if it is from somebody that is believed to have a very good knowledge in the area that you are engaging them on. And I'll be talking more about it as we go on as to how you choose an influencer for your product. So this sponsored content, this type of influencer marketing where you have sponsored content, you pay somebody and they share your information with their audience on a regular basis or based on the timeline that you have decided for your business. And another thing that you also have to note when it comes to this is that mostly people would not wake up looking at how the social media algorithms work. Okay, they will not wake up and then, unless of course they need your service or they have a complaint about your service, and then you go and look for your page. But they will not just wake up and go and check your page. But you will wake up in the morning and go and check Amelie's page and TikTok. Oh, this is what she's doing. It's fun. You understand? So they would always go to check the pages of influencers, these influencers that we have, for entertaining content. People just want to have fun. So you want to be strategic in positioning, which is called placement, our products to them. So you pay these people to put your product or service on their pages, on their platform, or whatever medium that they use for communication. And then we also have product reviews. So for this one, the company, whatever business you have, you engage the service of somebody who you think has the ability to determine or influence the decision or the purchasing decision of people or the people that follow them. And you make them test your product or your service. So for instance, today, when I go back to the office, I'm going to test Wachi from Hochu Affordables. So right now, this is an influencer marketing thing I'm doing right here. as I'm speaking to you right now, the wache is waiting for me. So when I get to the office, I eat this wache, and then I comment on how well I enjoy the wache, how it is. You understand? And of course, it has to be the truth. You understand? So if it is not good, certainly I'll have to get back to whoever asked me to. You know what? I think the shito is too hot.
Yeah.
Then maybe you do it again, okay? Because I don't want to spoil my credibility where you market a product and then people actually buy it and then it doesn't work or it doesn't serve the purpose for which you marketed it for. So you do reviews on that particular product. People do opening. So if it is a package or a product that you have to open, you do that kind of unboxing or whatever. If it is a cloth, so it's a suit, you wear it and then for people to see how it's like. So it's more or less like you give reviews. Even when you go online, people actually go to YouTube to actually go and search for information about phones. So whether I should buy an Apple phone or Android, you go check reviews. What are people saying about that product? Okay, so you can actually engage the service of a reviewer, somebody who can actually review your product or your service, and then based on that, it can inform the decision of the people that want to buy from you. Because so many products are on the market, and if you are not being careful, you will end up getting something that is not good enough because you did not review your product, or probably so.
Yeah.
Okay, and
I think that there's a quick thing I just want to mention here.
Right.
You talk about the credibility for influencers,
Right.
which then creates acceptance from a large number of people.
Right.
That credibility could have very well been gained through entertainment or through certain content that they have posted regularly.
Right.
Based on whatever it is. But it is for that reason that in putting your product out, they must also be careful not to dent or malign that credibility.
Exactly.
Which is why the truth about the product comes in.
Yeah.
So it's a very fair point. When you are selling your product, number one, let the product be good. Let it be fit for purpose.
Right.
Don't lie about it because eventually it comes around.
Exactly.
I just wanted to make that point that it has to be based on a certain level of honesty, because along with the credibility comes a certain level of tolerance. I like the way Edward wears his suits. Edward is a suit model. Whenever I see Edward wearing a suit, I feel like buying the suit. So I have a certain level of tolerance. So I go to see Edward wearing a suit in the morning. But along with the suit is a watch that is made by somebody in Ghana. And Edward is saying, listen, see how well this watch goes with my suit. Because it's coming from Edward, I will look at the watch.
Exactly.
I have tolerance. If it came from anybody else, I wouldn't. Now, which is why Edward should also not take me for granted and throw just anything at me.
Exactly.
So there has to be honesty about the process. That's the point I wanted to make.
That is very true. And this goes to say that sometimes when you're actually engaging the influencer, you the influencer would have to let your followers or the people who believe in you know that, okay, this is actually an ad. You don't want to take them for granted. You don't want to make it feel like you are deceiving them in a way. You understand? Sometimes the ad could be subtle, where you don't even talk about it at all. But for the mere fact that you wore a very nice suit or you are actually using a certain product, people see it and then they like it, so they ask you about it. That one is also there. But sometimes you have to be very, very open with your followers or your audience and let them know that, okay, this one I'm doing is actually an ad for a company or whichever brand hired me to do it for them. And then we also have takeovers. So for this very one, you actually let an influencer take over your social media pages. So they log in your account and they use it as if it is them. So whenever they go to the company page, they see this particular influencer using the account to share content. Why? Because under normal circumstances, people would never come to your page there to come and see footwears or clothes, unless of course somehow you made it to the explore page and you get to see your content, or through a sponsored post they get to see it. So you can let the influencer log into your account, use it to do live shows, use it to post themselves wearing your product or services, and then by so doing you are able to pull some traffic from their pages as well. You could also, right now, Meta has a collaboration tool where you can tag your influencer, they accept it, so that when it appears on that page, they can click on that post and then to redirect them to your business page as well. That's a collaborative tool. So when you click on that post, it redirects them to the business page. That is another form of influencer marketing as well, which we call takeovers.
Right.
And then let me go on to the next one, which is the types of the influencers we use. We'll be going to where we'll be selecting the influencers very shortly. We have celebrity influencers. So these were celebrities. Just mention them in Ghana. We have Sarkodie, we have Shatawale, we have all those big influencers we have. And mostly they hire these people or they use them for as ambassadors. So the company sits down, the marketing department sits down, and then they do a visibility study. So you ask your team members or whoever you're making a decision with, we want to hire or get services of an ambassador or an influencer for our brand. And we need a celebrity. Based on the kind of product you have or the service you have, you can now choose whose credibility, whose character, whose ideas is in line with what you have to offer. Because certainly you don't want to go for somebody whose visions and attitude and character is not in line with the kind of service or product that you have to offer. Because it has to be somebody that or whose opinions matters to the public or whichever audience that they have. So these celebrity influencers can be engaged, and I'm sure you'll be mentioning some of the ambassadors that we have as we go on.
Indeed.
Yes.
I mean, I have a short list here of, and this is in no particular order.
All right.
Just for the purpose of enriching the conversation here. I think we had a conversation. So, like Sarkodie used to previously be a brand ambassador for Standard Chartered.
Yeah.
Belamundi previously for ABSA. Kofi Kinata for Enterprise. Nanama McBrown for Hisense and a few others. Manifest for ABSA also. King Promise for EcoBank.
Right.
Kiddy for Samsung and many more.
Yeah.
But the question I want to ask is, in choosing celebrity ambassadors or influencers,
Okay.
what is a thought process that should go into it so that my business owners can understand that it's not the most popular person, or it's not because I like his music, it's not because Nhuyefe, or it's not because he speaks well on radio. What is a thought process that should go into the selection of a brand ambassador?
You see,
Just dwell on that for me.
Okay.
Just
the
30
thought
more
process
seconds.
that goes into selecting
Yes.
an influencer or a brand ambassador.
Yes.
Number one, it is highly dependent on the goals and objectives of which they want to engage the services of this particular brand ambassador or influencer. Mostly they hire the service of these brand ambassadors for visibility reasons or impressions. They want to be known. So they want to leverage on the visibility or the clout of this particular ambassador or influencer to get more views or impressions. And me as a marketer, the metric that really matters to me most is reach and impressions. You would want to ask me why. The reason is, before somebody could make a decision on your product or your service, they should have seen it first. I can't decide whether I want to buy this suit, I want to buy this phone, or I want to buy this particular food if I have not seen it. There are so many people who are so much interested in the sales, the return, the returns, how many people are clicking through to our website. It is good. But before you could make the sale, before somebody could actually click on your ad, before they could do anything, they could make any decision at all, they have to see it first.
True.
And that is why reach and impression is very important for me. So most of the time, when a company is going to hire the services of an influencer or an ambassador, reach or impressions or visibility or top of mind awareness is their number one thing, because most of the time they are being talked about in the media. So the moment they mention somebody's name, the next thing that or the next product that comes to their mind is, this person. And that is one thing. Then another thing that actually influences or the thought process in choosing an influencer is respect, credibility, what we call good character, or reputation. Reputation really matters. What people say about you actually
Who do people
matters.
say you are?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It matters a lot. And you don't want to make a mistake in choosing somebody who has a very bad reputation for doing something as a brand ambassador. Because in our setting, when you talk about morality, it really matters a lot. And somebody or people, the populace can actually decide to boycott your product because you chose somebody who is not having the right attitude or the right character.
You know a very naughty example that's coming to my mind, right? I hope my producer forgives me for this. Remember when Ghana lost that game in South Africa?
Right.
And Suarez was supposed to be responsible for it. So there are people who named their child Suarez because they wanted to be non-conformist. But there were landlords who threw people out of their house because they named their children Suarez. I mean, the enchantment and disenchantment was on both sides. The point I'm making is that a person can have so much affinity to the public or otherwise.
Yes.
And that's the same philosophy for influencers like you talk about. It's either people like you for a certain thing or they dislike you.
Exactly.
You know, so I mean, I just wanted to chip that in.
Of course, but people have to like you in a way. I mean, you are not selling to so many people. You actually have your target audience. And those people that you are trying to market to have to believe in you. You have to have that form of reputation. Because you don't want to have to fight a whole PR battle when your ambassador goes to mess up. So one of the things that really matters when it comes to choosing an ambassador is one of these things. You don't want to be fighting. One of the it's actually a PR tactic to make sure that the reputation is maintained.
Are there laid down conditionalities that would guide a relationship with an influencer or a brand ambassador should a company choose to hire one?
Of course. There has to be some form of...
You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do that.
There has to be an MOU, a memorandum of understanding between you and the organization. I've signed some before. One of it could be that you don't have to market for any other organization.
Exclusivity.
Yeah. When you are doing this business with me. So if it is a bank, you can't be an ambassador for me and then go and sign an ambassador deal for another bank as well. In fact, they would even ask you if you're already doing it with somebody already, because and sometimes it can be a strategy. You would want to steal the influence of one particular company because you want a switch. You want it to look like, oh, this one is not good again. This is the one I want. You understand? So there's this exclusivity, just like you said, where you only do the influencing for one particular brand. Another thing is that there are some things that you can't do. Again, maybe you are an iPhone lover, so you use Apple, and then you get an ambassadorial deal from an Android company. You certainly can't be tweeting with your iPhone again, because the moment you do that, it shows on your platform, and you claim to be an ambassador for an Android company, they would ask you, or it could go against the company you are doing that for, and they will start questioning whether you believed that what you're saying is true.
You can't do anything for their competitors.
Exactly.
How about personal conduct?
It actually matters too. How you carry yourself. It is because of how you are. That's why they hired you, or they took you on as ambassador. So it is very, very relevant that you watch your public disposition, how you carry yourself out there. Because the moment people see you, they associate you with the brand that you are standing for. So it is very important. But you know the sad thing, others actually think that there is nothing like bad publicity. So it doesn't matter if you are misbehaving or not. So far as the company is getting the views and impressions and the reach, they are okay with it. But I think it doesn't have to be like that. For me as a marketer, I believe that reputation is everything. And image, how people see you, how people perceive you, is very, very important. And because of that, if you are hiring an ambassador or an influencer, you have to have a sit-down conversation. You have to sit down and have a conversation as to how they carry themselves. In the case where they are very, very outgoing, they have to tone down a little bit in some of the things that they do out there, so that what they do cannot affect the company or the sales that you are actually running. And sometimes too, there's this thing where the person has a divided following. Maybe they are supporting a certain political party, or they are selecting a certain section of the population where they have some form of segregation. The moment you hire that person, or you engage the services of that person as your influencer, guess what happens? You are dividing your customer base. So let's say the person has come out as a supporter of a certain political party, and you sign the person on. if I'm not in favor of that particular party, what do I do?
I'm disenchanted.
Yeah, exactly. I have some form of dislike for your company right away, and that is also one of the things that you have to check when you are making a decision as to who you pick as your influencer, whether they've publicly proclaimed some things or they've taken a stand when it comes to sexuality. You know, all this conversation as to LGBT and all of that.
There are a few other types of influencers. We'll be getting interactive shortly so our listeners can be a part of it. But maybe in about 30 to 45 seconds, just touch briefly on the other types of influencers, if you will, before we go for a break.
Okay, so the other types of influencers we have macro influencers. This book would be in the 10,000s of followers on social media, and if you don't have much money, you could engage the services of these people. Apart from the celebrities which are very expensive, so you're an SMU, you can't afford the service of that person. Just get a macro influencers, and we have micro influencers. These will mostly have like thousands of followers on social media. They might not be having the millions of people, but when they say something, people actually look at it. Or they have some form of visibility. They have impression on their post. You can get about 10 micro influencers. They post about your product, they talk about it, and people can buy what you have to offer as well. We also have nano influencers, and these people have like hundreds of followers on social media. But guess what? If you have about 100 of nano influencers talking about your product, oh, I like this product, this is good, and they're talking about it for a very long period of time, you are going to have a certain trend on social media, and that can also influence the decision of people who follow your activities online. We also have industry experts. These people have established themselves as experts in a particular industry. So when you say digital marketing, you have Edward Asare. If you have business journalism, you have Yaw is there. When you take fashion, you have Elike Kumoji. When you take politics, you have all of those guys over there. When you take tech, Spencer. Exactly. When you take tech, you have Ivy Ballet and all those people. When you take media, you have all of the people enjoy. I don't want to mention, of course.
That is tech. You have Kobe Spiky.
Kobe. Kobe is there. So when you establish yourself as an expert, you are actually an influencer, and people can engage your services on that line of business that you do. And you can be an influencer out there. And then you also have local influencers. These people are known in particular regions. So when you go to the Upper West region, they are known as the landlords of that particular area. When you go to the northern region, you go to the Volta region, they are known. You might not know them right here in Accra. But if you want to do something maybe that is peculiar to your locality, these are the people you have to engage when it comes to influencer marketing.
Wonderful thoughts there. If you just tuned in, this is Masterclass here on your superstation Joy 99.7. We're here in the studio with Edward Asare. We're talking about social media marketing, influencer marketing to be specific. We'll take a quick message from our sponsors. When we come back, we get interactive.
Your favorite on-air business development program, Joy Business Masterclass, is in session, and you can interact with us on Facebook via the Joy 99.7 FM or Joy Business pages. If you tweet, the handle is at Joy 997 FM or at Joy Business GH. Don't forget to hashtag JB Masterclass. You can also call us on 0302 216541 or send your questions and contributions through to the WhatsApp number 0551 111997, and our facilitators will address your concerns. Attention everyone, class is in progress.
Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, this is Masterclass. We're interactive right now. Numbers to call 0302 216 541. That's 0302 216 541. You can also send us a comment on 055 1111997. That's 055 1111997. If you're driving, please do not text while you drive, because we definitely want you to arrive alive. But otherwise, send us your comment on 055 1111997. Or pick up that phone, give us a call, 0302 216 541. Social media marketing is one of those very interesting topics, and every one of us is involved in it one way or the other. Let's share thoughts so we can all become better for it, and we can make our nation great and strong. Numbers to call, 0302 216 541. Today's edition of Masterclass is brought to us by Goyle. Goyle, good energy. Goyle, Yenara, Yedia. If you have any motor vehicle of any kind, then here's some wonderful news for us from Goyle. What do you do when you run out of fuel in your vehicle? Do you just stop anywhere? Well, if you do that, don't do that. Let's introduce you to the Goyle's Energy family and why you must be a part of it. Girl Super XP Run 95 and Diesel XP are the best quality fuels with high performance in town for your vehicle. Girl Super XP Run 95 is a high-grade fuel sold at the same price as normal fuel. Girl's Diesel XP is low in sulfur, making it an eco-friendly option for your vehicle. With over 440 stations across the nation, we ask that you join the family that rewards you with the quality for an energized driving experience. Goyle, good energy, Goyle. Yenara, Yedia. Here's also an announcement from My Joy Online. Your browsing experience on My Joy Online just got better with a new interface and outlook. Get the latest news on politics, business, sports, entertainment, and lifestyle on the new myjoyonline.com portal. The new platform comes with a better and stronger rich content integration. Easy access from video to audio on the new My Joy Online portal. And also do share your feedback with us via email at editors@myjoyonline.com or WhatsApp on 055 11 11 997 so we can improve your experience and serve you better. This one is from My Joy Online. Phone lines are still open. Numbers to call 0302 216 541. Social media marketing. Pick up that phone, give us a call, or send us a comment on 055 111 997. I have my first comment on social media from Na. It used to be Na from Spintex. It's now Na from Kanishi. Na says, does every business necessarily have to have the owner at the forefront of the marketing business? What if the person doesn't want to be linked to it directly because of perceptions of them or something? Maybe the person is rich, but their products are far lower, are for the lower income bracket. By linking themselves to it, people may think that their products are expensive when in actuality it isn't. Or perhaps a respected person who sells bedroom sex toys. They may not want their reputation downgraded because of their sex toys are very, even though it's legit. Okay, so are there exceptions to that rule? So now what I meant by that comment was that be the biggest believer of what you are doing. You may not necessarily have to be the face of it in terms of advertising, but be your biggest fan. So that's what I meant by that comment. But maybe, yes, Edward, you have some thoughts to share?
Yeah. So when it comes to there's she's being careful about maybe some form of private information coming out in the public. But if you're an SME, you don't have the money to get the services of an influencer. By showing that you are the best person in that industry, you are becoming an influencer yourself. You understand? And also, people want to add a face to your business. I know so many businesses. I've done so many campaigns for people, and all you know is their business. Nobody knows that they own it. So there's no human face. And when it comes to online businesses, so this one is actually unique to online businesses. People want to add a human face to the business because of fraud and scam. So I have seen this business. There's nothing about the owner. Nothing shows who owns it. There's no human being. I'm very careful to do business with you. But the moment I know that, this business is owned by this person, I know that in case of anything, this is who I'm supposed to go and ask.
If you put a contact page, like when you go on some websites or some pages, there's a contact us kind of page, and you see the names and contacts and the people behind it.
Exactly.
Will that help?
It will help.
Because some of my listeners are quite shy. They don't want, they would rather pay Edward Asare to be the face of the product. But I'm saying that, so if they can't put their face there, can they operate? I've got a Japan from Accra. A Japan says, good afternoon. Can influencers sue a business owner when a defect on product causes damage to his or her reputation? Very good question, actually, Japan.
Well, before you sign as an influencer for a business, you have to believe in the business yourself. You don't go sign for a business you don't believe in. So let's say I don't drink alcohol. I don't go sign an influencer deal with an alcoholic company. If I don't bet, I don't go sign.
No, the question is asking that, for example, the same way we say that if the guy misconducts himself or the lady influencer misconducts herself and falls out of line,
right? The business misbehaves.
The business can pull their support, just like they did for Tiger Woods and a few other
people. Okay.
So if the business also, by virtue of some defect in their product, affects the guy's personal influencer's brand, can they sue?
Well, it has to be in the MOU. In the agreement. Most when you are starting off these things, you have all of these things in writing. In case you misbehave, the terms of termination are all written out there. Whether there has to be some form of compensation, there has to be termination, you have to pay me an amount, or you have to sue them. This suing, I think, has to be some form of last resort when you've negotiated with them or you have talks.
Exactly. It's available.
Then you go to court. Yeah.
So Japan, I mean, that's the answer to your question. Yes. What is good for the goose in this case is definitely good for the gander. By all means, we want to hear a lot more of your thoughts. This is social media marketing we're talking about. Influencer marketing, that's the biggest one in town these days. People are on TikTok trying to get followers so that they can become influencers. It's great. People celebrate the first 100,000 followers so that they can be marketers of various products, which is a good thing. But how do you do it properly? Pick up that phone, give us a call, 0302216541, or send us your comments on 05511119997. While we're waiting for those phone lines to ring, you were telling us about some of the types of influencers and why influencer marketing is important. Maybe let's continue to share those thoughts.
Okay. So I run through the macro influencers where I said it ranges from 10,000 followers and above. And those people, there are so many of them on social media. They're very popular faces out there on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram. You know them. Anytime you open,
I have a list here. I pulled up a list, and please, again, I'm issuing a disclaimer. This is information that's available on the internet. If I have not asked your permission, please forgive me. But I pulled up some examples. Let me say it like that, of people who are in the lead when it comes to some of these conversations. And I have Yaw Deborah, who is a Ghanaian self-styled entertainer. According to the source that I worked with, he has about 2 million reach.
I'm sure it will be more than that.
Well, okay, so there you go. And clearly, that makes him significant in the conversation. I have Kweku Amenohu, who has a 1 million reach. He's an author, internet marketer, and entrepreneur. I have Amoning Samuel, 788,000 reach. He's a Ghanaian award-winning blogger. I have Andy Opoku-Jomo, CEO of Dua Studios. And he's also a musician, 400,000 reach. Yeah, and a few more names. But I suppose because of the level of their reach, they would fall into one or the other category of what you're talking about,
exactly.
isn't it?
Exactly. Mostly. Right. And now the question has to do, there's a question of reach and followers. These are two different things when it comes to choosing.
Followers.
Yes, reach and followers.
Please distinguish for us.
Let me tell you. Some people rely on the followers when choosing an influencer. So they look at your social media following, your Twitter, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Instagram. They add them all up. And they decide whether they want to do business with you or not. Another thing has to do with the reach or impression of your content. And that is where I'm much more interested in. You could have so many followers, but you don't have enough reach. Because maybe the number of active followers you have is not as much as the person with less followers.
Please say that again. You can have a lot of followers, but not as much reach.
Yes.
I thought the reverse would have been true.
No.
That you can have as much reach, because I can see it and not follow you. But for me to follow you, I must have seen it.
Things have changed.
Right.
Somebody could be following your page, but they wouldn't be seeing your content. Now. Because the algorithm now is based on interest. What you're interested in. So you have people who are following, let's say, Edward, but they might not see my content because they like a lot of entertainment content. Mm-hmm. So when they go onto these platforms, they will see a lot of those content, even if they are not following some accounts. So Twitter, for instance, have a section called For You, where they look at your browsing activity or your pattern of consuming content online, and they suggest to you content that you will be interested in. But the other side of the thing is there is social proof, where because of the number of followers you have, people believe that, okay, since 5 million people are following you online, if you are talking about this, it means this number of people believe in your product. A very good example, a very layman example. When you go out right now to buy some food to eat, you see two vendors of vache. One of them has 10 people in the queue. You're so hungry. You don't have time. You have to come and do this show. And then another vendor has only one person standing there. Because human beings do not like uncertainty, and that's the reason why so many of us like prophecies. They based on social proof. They look at the vendor that has so many people in the queue, and they tell themselves, because this person has this number of people in the queue, it could mean that, one, it is good. Exactly. It is cheaper. You hear me? Or they have very good customer service. That is social proof. Maybe the person with only one customer in the queue might even be having a better service. or would have better food to provide you. But you don't want to risk uncertainty. You don't want to have to, rely on the decision of that one person against 10 people in the other queue. So on that same analogy, you have people following a particular influencer or a particular decision or a particular line of thought of an influencer because they have so many followers.
Safety in numbers.
Exactly.
So people will go where the majority goes.
Exactly.
But me, in this example you've given, if I'm
for the impressions,
do the show, I will go to the one that there's no queue. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm
of course.
I'm just that people.
Of course.
But the majority will do what you're saying.
Exactly.
Which is
Exactly.
right. Yes.
And another thing is that when it comes to the impressions, for the impressions, you have to get the data from the person who has the platform, and then based on that, you make a decision. But I've always said it's always good to combine the two when you're making a decision when it comes to this.
This is interesting conversation. What's our takeout from today's conversation? And God willing, if we have the opportunity to come back here again next week and continue this conversation, what should we be looking forward to?
Okay.
If you remember nothing from today's conversation, what should we take away?
What you should remember from today's session is that influencer marketing is very important. You don't have to have a very big budget. There is somebody out there that can speak to what you are doing and will give some confidence to what you have. Number two, sometimes you can be your own influencer by being an expert in the field that you find yourself, providing value consistently, such that when you say something, it means something to someone. It doesn't always have to be somebody else. So even if you are an SME, you're not starting up, if you don't have money to get the service of an influencer, you're just sitting there. You can become one yourself by providing value consistently, becoming that person, that go-to person, building a personal brand for yourself as well. Another thing is that don't shy away from influencer marketing. It is one of the cheapest ways to get organic testimonies about what you have to provide by dodging ads. So many people use ad blocks now. When you're browsing, you have ad blocks everywhere. So when we, the digital marketers, are sponsoring our post, people are blocking it. Another way to dodge it is to use influencers. It is much more authentic. It is much more organic. It is much more trustworthy when somebody speaks to what you can do. And like I said, word of mouth sales has always remained the king.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. What should we look forward to in our final conversation on
next week? We are doing monetization. So you have social media, you have some form of presence there. How do you monetize? How do you make money out of it? We are all spending so much time on social media, but only people are making money out of it. Now it is time to make sure that at least, even if it is not actively, you are passively making some coins from your presence online.
For your data bundles.
Exactly. I mean,
interesting conversation
exactly.
here. Edward Asare, digital marketer, spending time here in the studio with us to talk about digital marketing, social media. Today we talked about influencer marketing. God willing, next week we go to where the money is. Nasikanu Wahi. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Masterclass here on your Superstation, Joy 99.7. God willing, we come your way with yet another exciting edition next week. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you same time next week.